What's going on, growers? It's James Prigioni coming to you live from Jersey. It is July 14th today and the gardens are looking beautiful. So today, me and Tuck want to take you along with us for a full garden tour. Let's go! To start this video off, I wanted to switch it up a little bit and show you the whole backyard from almost like the entrance where you're first walking in. So as we look across, you can see how much food we actually have growing in this backyard. The food forests are absolutely taking over the whole yard. We still do have some space here, so me and Tuck could run around and have fun. But before I get going through the garden a little more, I wanted to just grab a fresh peach that we have ripe right here. This is the Betty peach, and these things are so good and so sweet. Nothing like fresh ripe peaches right off the tree. We'll just twist this off. Nice color on it, pretty soft. As I press into it, you can see the indentation. So we love that. You can see some of this white on it. That's just kaolin clay powder. I'm not worried about that. Let's just take a bite of it and see how it tastes. A little hard still, but incredible flavor. Jersey ripe fresh peaches, amazing. Let's keep moving forward though. Before I bring you inside of the food forest, I just want to show you one other thing that's got me so excited. So this apple tree looks incredible. This is the Williams Pride apple. Look at these apples on it. One of the things that gets me so excited is this apple tree is ripe in August. This is a very early producer. And that's one thing we love to do. Get early producers, mid-season producers, and late season producers. This way we're always extending our harvest and getting as much food as possible. Let's jump inside the food forest and see what it looks like from the inside out. We are in the garden now. As you can see, it's just packed with food. So much stuff in here. Apples, tomatoes, peppers, zucchini, pears, peaches, blueberries, anything you can think of. And as we look down here, you'll notice I did some work on these strawberries. And they're looking fantastic. We're setting them up for huge production next year. If you guys want to see how I maintain these strawberries, then just let me know down in the comments. We can do a video on that. But let's check over here. We've got peppers coming up, basil next to it, unlimited carrots, a cabbage that's ready. We'll grab that in a couple days. Cucumbers all along the fence line looking really good. We've got a dog hidden behind the fence in the back. He's probably looking for cucumbers. He already stole a few. We'll probably get him in here and give him a few cukes if he wants. Hey Tuck, you hungry boy? And as you move down this way, we've got some more things just looking excellent. Carrots, beautiful. All we gotta do is just grab one of these and it's excellent food. Look at that, nice shape to it. There's the Juan obtuse. Another cabbage ready, nice head, looking really good. More cucumbers along the fence line. We trail up, we've got some beautiful looking apples here. So again, we love packing things together, getting as much food as possible out of a small space. As you look down here, you'll notice, here's one of the broccolis that I left. We leave these because it's gonna create some more smaller broccoli heads. So we'll snack on those. Next to the broccoli here, we've got beans that we just planted. These are probably the dragon tongue. And then next to that, we've got the ground cherries. This is an incredible little annual fruit. Delicious little cherries on it. Really yummy, a ground cherry. And let's see if we got some small cucumbers maybe we can give Tuck. He's looking at the carrot that we grabbed, so we'll give him that for now. But it's really kind of cucumber time. We're moving into that. All the plants are loaded with flowers, so soon we're gonna have buku cucumbers, and that's one of Tuck's favorites. He loves them so much. Let's keep moving though. The grapes along the fence line look really good. Look at all the flowers on the cukes. I cannot wait. They're one of my favorite summer veggies. So delicious, packed with water. It's not just, I consider that water inside the cucumber to be living water. It's like taking a drink of water that's alive. It's incredible. Kale doing really well still. I call kale the lettuce of the summer because once it gets really hot in the middle of the summer, it's tough to grow your lettuces, but you can grow kale and use that as a replacement. Right below the kale, we've got some onions that are just about on the cusp of being ready. Some nice yellow onions. We've got purple onions and we've got white onions planted in multiple locations. We turn to the left a little bit. We've got more cabbage ripe, ready to go. So we're in summer now, but we still have the last of our cabbages. And we've got a lot of flowers mixed in. Now let's move to one of my favorite sections of the garden, the tomatoes. Look at this thing, absolutely loaded. So many tomatoes on them, looking fantastic. I don't see any issues just yet. I don't see any blossom end rot. We're monitoring the tomatoes. We're happy with the production. And if we move from the side over here and you could look straight down the tomato alley, it looks really cool. So let's get over here. Let's just kind of get a view down the center of the tomatoes. This is what we love to see. Just hanging out here and just a plethora of tomatoes in between us. Tied up, looking excellent. This is a safe and great way to grow them. You can see the amount of airflow they're getting because we pruned underneath the tomatoes too. This isn't the only way we grow tomatoes though. We also grow them up stakes, as I'll show right behind you. And they grow fantastic just like that, right into the ground. So we plant tomatoes a few different ways and we seem to have success both ways. So there's not only one way to do something. You can do things multiple ways and still have good success. So growing up the stakes, look at them, beautiful, loaded with tomatoes, very little disease. We stayed on top of them, so that's important. We like to get rid of problems when they're small and before they bubble up into bigger issues. More tomatoes back here, apples too. This is our best year ever for apples by far. I believe this one's the Bella apple. It's a later season one. Apple's a little smaller, but still looking really well. Next to us here, we've got a monster zucchini plant that we love to see, the Costata Romanesco. This thing got me so excited. Look at this thing, absolute beast. And then above that, we've got some pears looking fantastic. Those will be finishing up later in the season. And then we've got the blueberries behind that. The pink lemonade blueberries are so good. The color is amazing. They're so sweet, so delicious. Look at these. Look at that. I mean, I'm just so thankful. Doesn't get better. As we look down below us, we've got hard at work Tuck digging a hole. What are you doing, buddy? What are you doing? So when it gets hot out, this guy loves digging his holes. To be honest with you, it's fine. We don't mind this guy digging holes because when he digs a hole next to a fruit tree or next to a blueberry, what I do is later I come back out and I just pack this hole with compost and then water it in. So this guy kind of digs a hole and allows us to fertilize in this section. So thanks for your help, bud. He keeps cool, hanging out, and he's helping us in the garden. It looks like he might be a little thirsty though. So as we move to the other food forest, we'll try to get him some water. The idea with this video is I'm trying to make this long cuts in a sense to give you guys a good sense of what the whole food forest looks like. I don't want to break it up into little pieces. I want to try to give you guys a good overall idea of what the garden just looks like in general. So let's move back here a little more. Here's the strawberry section that has pumped out so much food for us this year. First I gotta eat these blueberries I'm holding on to. So we did a lot of work on these strawberries. We thinned out the rows, we composted them. They look excellent. We're gonna get a lot of production next year. Next to me here, we've got another peach. And then to the left of that peach, we've got the watchers over of the garden. These sunflowers are gonna get really tall. They're gonna watch over the garden. They're gonna protect it. So we love to see that because as we move back here in this corner, next to where the deep raised bed is, look at this deep raised bed. Look at the production on it. It's incredible. I wanna show you right here. I showed you other video, the tongues of fire beans, but they didn't have their characteristics. They didn't have much of their color. So they're just starting to develop some of their color. Let me find something, like here you can see. But they don't have as much of that true tongues of fire color because I think they don't get a lot of light back here, so that might be affecting them. The beans are still delicious and the production is still high. So you can see this deep raised bed really is doing well. But I wanted to bring you over here because this is the highest part of the whole yard. So as we look back, you can get a good overview of what the whole property looks like. A lot of people think that this is a massive property. It really isn't. This is only, the whole property is 1/3 of an acre. And then I probably garden only on about 1/3 of that because I only have the back half of the backyard and one side of the house. The house and all the front yard, that's all not gardened. Right here, again, these sunflowers, the watches of the garden, I love those so much. And then it turned out I had extra tomatoes, so we didn't get rid of them. We just said, let's find places to stick them in the ground. So we've got more tomatoes growing. I don't want to get ahead of myself and get too confident, but I think this is going to be our best tomato year ever. I really do. In the back, we've got more tomatoes sneaking up, creeping up the bamboo, looking beautiful. Behind that, we've got grapes. These are North American grapes. They're looking really nice. And then even between the tomatoes, we snuck in cucumbers. So look down there. Cucumber, cucumber, cucumber. If we see that light hits an area, we like to try to grow something in that spot. So we like to get the most out of this space. I'll never stop saying that. As we move into the Keyhole Raised Bed, you can see we're getting large production out of this section. In the past, only thing I had was just a strip in the back and a strip along the side. With better design, we can grow so much more food and it's paying off. As we move in here, we've got some zucchini that are ripe and ready, looking really good. You can see that. So we're gonna eat that one today. and then we've got more zucchini coming up in the back. So we will continue to harvest these. The more we get in when they're young, the more the vine will actually produce. Over here, we've got the green beans that look really nice. The climber beans taking over that section, but let's move into the new food forest. I'm at the old food forest, and let me give you an overview of what that looks like. Let's check out the old food forest now. Right next to me here, we've got a beautiful looking apple. So nice, the apples just, I'm happy with the way it's coming out, and some of the apples in the bottom are starting to show some color too, even on this side. We've got some redding on the apple, so we're starting to get closer to ripe. And we love to see that in apples. You can see some of the surround kaolin clay too, just helping to protect it. Next to me here, we've got more tomatoes planted into the ground. These ones are already getting tall and are already loaded with fruit. 1 set, 2 set, 3 set, 4 set. It's so great, I love it. These are the super sweet 100s, and you can see down here I have it labeled. One mistake that I've made in the past that I finally learned from was I wasn't using the right markers so that, you know, the variety was getting washed away. This is a UV resistant marker and it's made for gardening. So this has actually helped me a lot because I spent too much time labeling the plants and getting it washed off. I don't know why it took me so long to realize it, but you know, I never claimed to be the smartest guy. So let's keep moving along though. Check out this pallet raised bed right here. Looking really nice. Tomatoes are getting really tall too. Zinnias are coming through and the carrots are really looking nice also. We're allowing these cilantro to flower because what they're going to do is open up their flowers. They've got this beautiful umbrella shaped flower that brings in a lot of pollinators, so we love drawing pollinators in. We don't just have flowers and tomatoes planted here though. I've got some peppers here, and then I also like to plant a cucumber in here. I've done it in the past where I plant 1 cucumber in the center and then I allow it to grow out of the bed. I'll show you in another section where I do that. Some spots I just throw a cucumber in the corner and let it grow out. I think Tuck's getting a little thirsty though, so we've got a drink for him right here, all set up, right buddy? He's so loyal, he's always out here, never wants to quit. So let's get him some water. This is just a cool thing we found, and it makes a little quick dog bowl for him. So we always want to make sure we're taking care of him and watching out for him because it's so hot out. You can see just by how bad I'm sweating. And I'm not even working hard out here. I'm just walking around showing you guys what's growing. So we'll let him finish that water up. But overall, things look fantastic back here. Before I move you to another section of the garden, I just want to show you one more thing hidden in the back corner. So who would grow stuff back here? It's like, honestly, I've got like 3 trees back here, but I'm crazy enough to try something and it's working. So we've got some oranges back here. Look at this. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 or 10 oranges right there too. This isn't an orange that we're going to be eating fresh or anything. You can tell it's not a typical orange tree. It has thorns on it. But it's this idea of growing oranges in New Jersey. Who's doing it? I think it's so much fun. And that's one of the things that's different with me. I'll continue talking as we move along, is people often ask, James, what do you do with all the food? How do you preserve it? Can you show us doing some cooking or something? I don't preserve a lot of it, to be honest. I eat a lot of it fresh, and then I give the rest of it away because I love growing the food and I love eating it fresh. I find as much joy growing it as eating it, so that's what I like to do. I'm not a huge fan of the processing part. I just love growing and eating. So I want to show you back here where we have done a terrible job this year of keeping up on the wood chips. I had a bit of an issue finding some wood chips. I did finally get them, but it was a little late. So now I have to kind of restart this process over. What we're doing here is we want to put a thick layer of wood chips down, but we just don't want to put the wood chips down because it will help to get, the weeds will come up pretty easily. Instead, we're putting this contractor's paper down, which is just essentially really thin cardboard. This is just going to help suppress the weeds out so they don't get light or oxygen, and then it'll break down in a year or so. So it's not a long-term thing, but it's going to help clean up the overall garden because it's just getting too many weeds in here. And now that we have wood chips, we can start, you know, making some better improvements overall. Asparagus underneath the peach trees, doing great. We got so much food out of that in the beginning of the season, and every year it produces more and more food. So it's an incredible asset, like so many of these things in the garden. And gardening to me, it's just so fun and so enjoyable. It reminds me of a Bill Mollison quote where he talks about, like, you know, you can be gardening, I'm gonna paraphrase it. Basically, you can be gardening for years and think that you kind of have a good handle on things and a good understanding on what's gonna go on. And then all of a sudden, something happens and you know, a gift is given to you and then it changes your outlook. And then all of a sudden you realize, you know, maybe there's other doors that aren't open that I can open. And then you open one door and there's hundreds of doors. But then it makes you realize, what if there's other doors that I don't even know about yet? So that's what it is with gardening. It's a never-ending process of learning and trying to gain a level of understanding and just growth. So it's unending fun in my opinion. I'm talking too much. Let's get into the beds though. You can see our peppers are really starting to hit their stride. This year I've preached a lot about timing and how plants start to hit their stride once the weather is correct and the timing changes. So now that it's the right weather for peppers, as you can see because I'm sweating so bad, that they're excelling, they're doing well. It's the right time for cucumbers, they're doing well. We don't want to put these things in super early because then they just sit, wait, and have a rough time until the weather actually changes. Here too, once the weather changed, we've got double, triple size and growth happening very quick. Here's another example of the cucumbers that I like to plant, like I mentioned, at the edge of the bed. The cucumbers grow at the edge of the bed like this, and then they just trellis along the ground. So it's not the greatest design, but it's how I get extra fruit from nothing. Look at Tuck over there, finding his own cucumber. He just grabbed one. He just grabbed one and snuck away with it. Well, he knows where they are. Once I come over here, I start talking about cucumbers. He said, oh no, it's time. So we'll let this guy snack on his cucumber. Look at him. He had the first cucumber of the season. He's already got another one. Looks like he's got it about finished, huh? What a cute guy. Right above him, we've got kale. And then to the right of him here, we've got echinacea, looking beautiful. We love adding the flowers. Don't forget about the Prigioni Apple behind me. It looks like Tuck's going back for more though. This is what I was talking about sometimes, how we put a fence up, not only for critters and stuff, but sometimes for this guy because he can get a little hungry. Even if he has breakfast in the morning, he's got a nose for it. And let's be honest, he's been waiting for cucumbers about as long as I've been waiting for cucumbers, so you can't blame the guy. Let's keep moving though. We've got the Prigioni Apple above me, looking fantastic, producing beautiful apples and also providing a home for the birds, so the next generation. So we're happy with the Prigioni Apple. It's cool to be able to have a tree you planted from seed producing fruit and producing a little bit of a habitat for other things too. Let's swing over into the grapes. The beautiful American grapes. It's nice to chill in the shade of the grapes you planted, especially when they have a bunch of fruit on them. We're not expecting to get all this fruit. We're going to get some brown rot, we know that. But overall, we know that we'll get a good enough harvest to be happy and to enjoy the whole process and things. Let's keep moving though, because this fig tree is doing well, best it ever has. And I wanted to mention again, I showed you the other video, but this is important if you're growing fig trees and you want a decent production. You want to make sure that you're pulling off those small figs that are producing. So look at this right here. Here you can see a tiny fig producing right there, a small fig. We do not want it to produce that. We want it to focus on the figs that are already large. We're gonna pop that fig off down here. So here's the size figs we wanna focus on. So I've already chosen these size the figs. They're looking good, but we wanna make sure we keep pulling off the small figs so that its focus is its growth and all of its hormones on the production of those figs that are already large. Hazelnut is looking beautiful. Not many other things to say about that. I'm really hoping that the nuts are delicious this year, and this one is absolutely loaded. So I'd be upset and a little remiss if we didn't get buckets of hazelnuts. Tuck is actually back on the cucumber. Nah, he's good. He's back on the cucumber. Look at him, he's on the search. I see, I don't make this stuff up. I literally just turn around and he's got his nose to the ground looking for the cucumbers, and the bees are working right on the echinacea right next to us too. So one thing about a food forest is it's filled with life. I love it. The whole thing's a joy in my opinion. The pears are doing all right. You can see this one, the Chijuro pear, the variety does so much better than some of the other varieties because this is a 3 grafted variety. Look how healthy the Chijuro looks, the leaves and everything. And then if we look at the other variety right here, like the 20th century, it's got some splitting. The fruit is getting bit, more splitting up here. So you can see just how much variety makes a difference because this is the same tree and just the variety is just huge. The Chijuro, we always get good Chijuro pears out of this. Echinacea over here, and then the persimmon. Persimmon looks like one of those trees that once you get it going, this thing is reliant. So everyone get a persimmon in if you don't have one in already, and you can grow them, because if you can get a hardy one like this or a Nikita's Gift or an astringent one, you could really extend your season far. And if you get a non-astringent one, it's just another delicious addition. The non-astringent persimmons to me almost taste like a sweet cucumber with this just incredible flavor. So let's move over to the side garden though. We're almost finished with the tour, but we're not done yet. Before I let you go, I wanted to show you how the side garden is doing, and it's got a lot of fruit in this section here. I love this garden because I think it's encouraging for a lot of you because it's a relatively small garden and it's on the north side of the house. So this isn't the ideal spot to grow food. Still though, blueberries like crazy are growing. We need to find things that grow well in certain areas. So blueberries don't need full sunlight. They can grow decent as an understory plant, as you can see here. Pink lemonades, more of them we have over here, and then more blueberries over here. Then I want to show you this Asian pear tree right here. Doing really well, but it's getting some of the same splitting as the other tree, and overall it just has too much fruit on it. So what I'm going to have to do is remove some of the fruit because this thing should be standing up like this, but just too much fruit. So we're gonna have to remove some of those broken ones. Overall, we're happy with the health of the tree though. We just need to stake it up a little better. The blackcap raspberries are essentially finished for the season. We got what we could out of them. I still need to do some additional pruning, but overall we're happy with the production. And this blueberry over here is looking great. Our main focus in this section is blueberries, and that's what we've done really well on this year. So what I'm going to do is spend a lot of time in the fall and winter. Well, not a lot of time. I'm going to do a good job of pruning to make sure that we could get better production next year, because even though we had a lot of berries, I think we could have bigger, sweeter, better berries next year. That's today's video, growers. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it. And these videos, we want to make these so you guys get out there and actually get some stuff into the ground and know that it's not that hard. Anybody can do it. Starting a food forest doesn't have to be planting 200 trees, 60 blueberry plants. Starting a food forest can just start with one single tree going into the ground. Sometimes it's just the way you look at it. And I know for a lot of gardeners that in the beginning years, you may make a few mistakes, but that's a good thing in my opinion. I've noticed, especially for new gardeners, lessons are sometimes more valuable than the harvests because it's what teaches us so we can grow upon that in the future. Because when we're beginning gardeners, our main focus is really on knowledge, understanding, and experience, because once we get more knowledge, all those three things, we could next year start on a higher foundation, build upon that, and then every year grow. So it's not about how much you get this year, it's about how much you're gonna get in the next 5, 10, 15 years. So before me and Tuck let you go, we wanted to thank William Ludwig. Thanks for your support for the channel. Thanks for joining Team Grow. It means a lot to me and Tuck for you to become a member. And it's just nice knowing that we're creating value and that you guys are willing to contribute for it. And before I let you go, I just wanted to say that to check out the merch down low. We love these shirts. We think they're pretty comfortable, and I wear them around all the time. I enjoy wearing them. It's not just on film I wear them. I really just do wear them everywhere because they're pretty comfy. And don't forget to check out our Amazon affiliate link whenever you're doing some shopping. Me and Tuck will be back to you again real soon. We